Hello, friends. Senior Pastor Ben Pierce here, coming to you not live, recorded, from 301 Studios at Fuquay-Varina Baptist Church. As you know, we've been going through Who Died and Made You King. As we've been looking at the various kings of the Bible, we're going back to the northern kingdom, and we're going to be looking at a man named Joash. Now, you need to know he also has the name of Jehoahaz. So if you see those two names, it's the same guy. There is a Joash that was king in the south as well. Anyway, this king of the north, Joash, he's going to be king for 16 years. He's going to reign from 798 to about 782 BC. Now, here's a question for you at home. He's from the north, so what kind of king was he? You got it. He was evil. His dad was Jehu. We're going to talk a little bit about Jehu because Jehu is going to end Ahab, and so we'll talk about that a little bit because it figures in the next four kings. Now, when we talk about Jehoahaz or Joash, his reign overlapped that with the king of Joash of the southern kingdom. His reign also overreigned with King Amaziah, who reigned in the south as well, shortly after Joash of the south. So you need to know that Amaziah, who was king of the south, he defeated the Edomites. Now, the Edomites were known for their idolatry. And for Amaziah, because he defeated this enemy, he got what we call in the south, he got a little too big for his britches. All right, so this southern king, Amaziah, is going to challenge the northern king, Joash, to a fight. And Joash says, no, I'm not going to do that, man. You're stirring up trouble. In other words, go home, you're an idiot. Amaziah doesn't listen to the warnings. And God warns him, don't pick this fight. Well, Joash of the north, when Amaziah does bring the fight, Joash of the north brings the pain. The Bible says Amaziah lost because he served the gods of the Edomites. Imagine that. You destroy the enemy or you beat the enemy, but you adapt their gods. How silly is that? I mean, looks like their gods didn't protect them. Throw those away, especially when you know the real God. But anyway, Joash of the north, he has another military victory. Joash's father was Jehoahaz, and when Jehoahaz was king, he was harassed by Hazael, the king of Aram. Now that's going to come into play because Joash becomes king and he's still dealing with Aram, still dealing with that nation. This is going to be about the same time as the prophet Elisha. Now, it's interesting. Elisha got sick and he was near death. Well, King Joash goes to Elisha and he's got a lot on his mind. He's been aggravated by the king of Aram, Hazael, and in 2 Kings 13, he's going to go to Elisha and tell Elisha his problems. Well, Elisha tells Joash of the north to take and shoot some arrows out the window. And what Elisha calls them the arrows of victory. Joash, you will completely destroy Aram, is what he's telling him. And then Elisha does something. He says, Joash, take those arrows and I want you to strike the earth with them. Well, Joash only did it 3 times. This didn't sit well with Elisha. Elisha was like, look, man, these are the arrows of victory. You should have been pounding them in the ground 5, 6, 7 times, but instead you only did it 3 times. So now what's going to happen is, yes, you're going to win, but you're only going to beat them. You're going to beat them, but it's only going to be like 3 times as bad. Well, sure enough, after Hazael died, Joash defeated Hazael's son, Ben-Hadad. And he's going to recover some of the cities Hazael had taken, but he's not going to recover all of them. You know, sometimes we need to do that, don't we? When it comes to following God, we need to make sure to give it all we got. For Joash here, he just struck the ground 3 times, just enough to get by. How about you? In your walk with the Lord, are you doing just enough to get by? So many times I meet Christians who are doing just enough. Oh, I'm done. Listen, when you think about the mercy and the grace that Christ showed at the cross, just getting by is not enough. Or as I used to have one of my mentors said, it was this: good enough is never good enough. He always wanted to push us to excel, to do more than, to go exceedingly abundantly, just as our God does. Or as the Raiders have a saying, commitment to excellence. Now, sometimes that doesn't show up on the field, but if you commit yourself to doing excellent for the Lord, that's a great place to be. So I want you to know, when we look at Joash, we learn a couple of lessons. Number one is wickedness, it's not going to pay. Number two is when the Lord asks you to do something, don't just settle for halfway. Don't just go half-hearted. Go with all your heart and seek Him. Until next time, friends, keep seeking the Lord and keep walking in a way that's worthy of the gospel of Jesus Christ.